guys, my name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about some books that I think Netflix should adapt into film or TV or whatever. I don't know if you've noticed, but lately Netflix has been adapting a lot of really popular books into content. For example, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Dumplin', Bird Box, Gerald's Game, Series of Unfortunate Events. I mean, that's just to name a few. I'm sure there's like a ton more, but recently I feel like it's become more popular for them to take books that are well known or at least somewhat popular and adapt them into either Netflix movies or Netflix series. And so I wanted to give Netflix a few ideas because, you know, Netflix is gonna watch this video. Just kidding, Netflix ain't watching this, but these are a few of some of my favorite books that I think would make perfect Netflix movie adaptations or series adaptations. Whatever they want to do, I'm down for it. And I trust Netflix. Netflix adaptations are usually some of the best adaptations, I think. So I have a wide variety of different genre-y things that would be a Netflix thing, so let's just jump right in. Alright, so the first one I think would make a great Netflix adaptation would be Autobiography by Christina Lauren. Love, Simon really changed the game, okay? And I think Autobiography, I think Netflix should get rights to this and make it into this cute movie because I think everybody would be obsessed with this if they turned it into a movie and if they got really good actors. I was thinking too that this would make for a really cute like musical, but you know, that's just me. But yeah, I mean, this is a story about two boy writers living in Utah in a very Mormon community. I feel like this book also would have a lot to say about LGBT relationships in a religious town. Like, there's just a lot of really great messages in this book as well, so I feel like Netflix would really benefit from turning this into a movie. I am just so down for a film adaptation of this. I love this book so much. It's one of my favorites ever. Alright, the next book that I think would make an amazing movie or series is Vicious by V.E. Schwab and Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. This book series is actual life, and I think that these would make the most badass motherfucking movies you've ever seen in your goddamn life, okay? Netflix has made a lot of like superhero action-y content before, so I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to make this. But this book follows these anti-heroes, kind of. They're like borderline heroes, borderline villains, like it kind of blurs the lines between good and evil. Victor Vale is one of the most badass characters I've ever read about ever, and he'd basically be like the Joker, kind of. Like, oh, Netflix needs to get on this. Like, I don't know why this series hasn't been adapted into film yet, because it would just be so epic. And especially because people are obsessed with superheroes right now. Like, Marvel and DC are like the biggest fucking things right now. So like, why don't they adapt something like this? I'll never know. I just think that this series would make for such an epic film adaptation because like the rivalry between Victor Vale and Eli Ever, like that revenge tale in that, oh, it would just be so good. I could just see it all in my head and I just want it to happen so bad. Another book that I think would make a good adaptation if it was done nicely is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. And it's like, this is my favorite book of all time, so I'm also kind of like, no, don't make an adaptation of it, you'll fucking ruin it. But also, if this is done really tastefully and in more of like an indie film kind of way, I could see this being fucking amazing as a movie. They'd have to get a really, really great actor though to play Henry, or else I would be not for it. But if they try to make this some kind of like 13 Reasons Why young adult bullshit, then I'm not here for it. If they make it more of a character study kind of movie, the way that this book actually is, then I would be so here for that. I think that this would make a gorgeous indie film that would win all of the Oscars. The next one I have on my list is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Dude, I need this to be a movie more than I need my next breath of air. This would make the most epic movie. It would be like La La Land because it's like old Hollywood, but like so much more. And Evelyn Hugo is a character that I need to see come to film. Like, I need to see her in action. Like, it would just be such a cool movie, and it would like span her whole life, so it would just be a very moving film. The messages in this book are so important, and I think this one and Vicious are the ones I want the most. The next one I have is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This one gave me so much anxiety while I was reading it, and I could just picture it in my head so perfectly that I think it would just make the best action-y thriller movie, like, oh my gosh. Because it's about this girl that gets stranded at this rest stop on the side of the road when there's a really bad blizzard happening outside. And then she sees a child in a cage in the back of a van that's in the parking lot of this rest stop. And then she knows that one of the people that she's with at this rest stop is a fucking child abductor, and she's scared for her life. This entire book takes place in like a blizzard, and it's so intense and so scary, and I just think it would make a really great movie. Like, it would be so freaking intense. Another one that would make a very great suspenseful movie is The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. I could just see this one too, like, perfectly in my head as a film adaptation. Oh my god. This one follows a gay couple, Eric and Andrew, which I also think would be a really cool thing to have represented in a horror film. They are at their cabin with their adopted daughter Wen when these 4 people come up to their house. It's like a home invasion story, and they say that the world is coming to an end and they need Eric and Andrew's help to prevent the end of the world. Some really horrific and terrible things happen in this book, and honestly, it kind of reminds me of the movie The Killing of a Sacred Deer. So if you like movies like that, then I really think you would like a movie like this. Yeah, this one is just so tension filled. There's so much anxiety. Oh, I get to see it so vividly as a film. Like, people would eat the shit up. It'd be scary like Bird Box, but like scarier, you know? The next 2 that I have, I think would make epic Netflix series. Like, I think they should make this a little mini series, kind of like Stranger Things, you know, like a little 8-episode gig. But that is Sleeping Giants, because holy shit, this is a sci-fi trilogy. It's an adult trilogy, and it's about these giant metal things being buried underground, and we don't know about them. It kind of reminds me of like War of the World or some shit. They don't know. There's like so much mystery about what is this, like who was here before us and what could have possibly created this, and there's just so much mystery to this, and oh my gosh, this book series is just so cool, and I feel like it would make such an epic Netflix series. Like, oh my god, people would be obsessed with this shit. And the next book series that I think would make a really cool Netflix series is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. This is young adult, so they'd pull in that young adult crowd, get all those 13 Reasons Why, Riverdale loving bitches up in here. This shit would be huge because it is, you know, Disney princesses, but like sci-fi version. I know they probably have to get some kind of like rights from Disney to actually make this happen, but oh my god, you guys, Cinder. And it's so deserving, and it's action-packed, and there's romance, and it's got that young adult energy, you know, so like young people would be all over this. Yeah, I think this would make a perfect Netflix series. It would be amazing. The next one I have is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I feel like this one would be like that really great indie movie Oscar film that everybody just loves the shit out of, because, you know, it takes place in Alaska, it takes place in the 1970s, also like deals with a lot of very serious topics like PTSD, because her dad just came home from the Vietnam War and he's dealing with some severe PTSD, and living in Alaska isn't the best environment for him. It's following from the point of view of a 13-year-old girl though, so I feel like this would just be something that the Oscars would eat up. Like, it would be so highly praised if it was done right. And I just feel like because this book takes place in Alaska, it would be such an atmospheric movie, and I feel like the landscape shots of Alaska would be so beautiful, and I could just see it all in my head. Like, it would be such a good movie. The next one that I think would make a great movie is Verity by Colleen Hoover. This one is like a romantic-y thriller, such a fucked up, crazy psychological thriller, and it follows this girl named Lowen who's a writer, but she's gonna be writing the author Verity Crawford's last 3 books in her series, because Verity's been in a car accident that has made her unresponsive. Oh my god, this book is creepy as hell, and it's so good, and I think this would make such a good movie. Like, it would be so creepy, and if it was well done, like, holy shit, I would never sleep again. Alright, the next one I have is This Is How It Always Is by Lori Frankel, because this one's about this family who has a son who's 5 years old who says that he wants to be a girl. And I feel like in this day and age, like, a movie like this would be so powerful, and I feel like if they got a child actor who was good enough to pull off a role like this, I just think this would be another one of those Oscar movies. It'd kind of be like Room or something, like where there's a really good child actor at the center of the movie, like Jacob Tremblay. I just think that this would be some real powerful shit that also the Oscars would just eat this shit up. It'd be so cute. It'd be so good. And the last two that I have, I think would make really great rom-com movies, kind of like the movie Set It Up that's on Netflix right now. That's a really cute like rom-com office romantic comedy movie that they just came out with fairly recently. But that is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren and The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I mean, pretty much any books by Christina Lauren I think would make really cute Netflix rom-com-y movies. In particular these two, because this one honestly reminds me so much of New Girl, and I could just see it becoming a movie and becoming everybody's like favorite ship OTP, you know, thing. And then The Unhoneymooners, because this one pretty much takes place in Maui, and I could just see that like this is like your typical romantic comedy. Like it has all of the check boxes that you need in a romantic comedy. Like it would just be perfect. And this one has that like vacation-y vibe to it that I think a lot of romantic comedies like to have. I think either of these though would make for the cutest rom-com movies if they got actors that had perfect chemistry. Cough, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, cough. Any hoodles. Those are all of the books that I think would make for some really great Netflix adaptations. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. And let me know in the comments if there's any other books that you think would make for some really great Netflix movie or TV show adaptations. Let me know what you think about any of these books becoming movies or TV shows. Like, do you want that to happen, or are you more like about your favorite books becoming movies? Like, does it make you nervous? It definitely makes me nervous. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time.